Hello and welcome to the New York Knicks Syndicate pregame show with George from Into the Knicks-Verse and Quis from Sports Vibes TV.
Salute.
Welcome, brother.
How's everything? You good?
I'm doing good. Running around a little late though. Sorry, got started a little late here tonight. Well, for me, it's still the afternoon.
Yeah. Still midday over by you, right?
Yeah, pretty much. I was like, oh shit, got to run around and do some stuff. Hey, thank you guys for joining us. As we're going to begin, I just want to mention that the promotion that BUSR is running, it's going to end soon. So get in on it. You bet $1 for a chance to win $10,000. You go to busr.com and you just sign up. It's pretty easy. And the first deposit, you get 100% sign-up bonus plus 25 casino chips, and you just place a $1 bet or more and you immediately get entered to win the $10,000, which will be announced on the 26th, which is the day of the Elite Eight. So definitely check out this site. They're an excellent sponsor. You get, not only do you get a chance to win money during March Madness, but you also can gamble on other casino games that they have. They do horse racing, MFA, a bunch of stuff. I mean, it's a great site. So check it out. And now we are going to begin talking Knicks. Something we've been doing for like nonstop for a year and a half, pretty much. How are you feeling, Quis? Oh, can't hear you.
Whoopsie, I didn't want to interrupt the promo. My bad. I had to
make
sure the mic was muted. Yeah, I'm feeling pretty good. Especially after the loss, I was able to cheer myself up a little bit, knowing Tibbs kind of lost us the game out there with some of his rotation issues, as we've been speaking about for the entirety of the season. But for the most part, I'm doing solid. How's everything with you, George?
I'm doing well. It's been a little bit difficult recently since that Tibbs news that he's going to be brought back beyond next season, or that he might stick around beyond this season. Should we say? Sorry about that. The news was he'll be around expected to be held on to beyond this season. That took a lot of wind out of my sails personally, and I know other people as well. It's kind of made us we were already feeling kind of negative, but one of the hopeful things were possibly moving on, somehow getting out of the situation.
Yeah, and there was some hope if we were able to move on to a different coach, but now it looks like we're going to be stagnant. We're going to be stuck with the same coach, maybe even still stuck with Julius Randle. So it's be interesting to see what we do in the offseason to try and, adjust things. But we're starting off from a crappy base. So I guess it's a pretty sucky spot to be in right now for a Knicks fan.
It is, which is one of the reasons why I wanted to bring a little sunshine back into our Knicks world here. And talk about some of the positive things that have happened this season. And so we're going to go through our top four positives that happened for the Knicks this season. We're going to go through that. But before we get to that, we're going to talk about the big news of the day. The big news of the day is Julius Randle has a sore right quadriceps tendon, and he's out for tonight's game against Atlanta, which is the first game that they are playing at MSG since they took care of business. The Hawks did in the playoffs. So, what is your feeling initially about this news?
Well, when I heard it, I tweeted, hopefully Julius Randle can get better, but I was focused more
I felt how genuine that was.
That was genuine, George. That was genuine. You don't want anybody to go down with injury, but when someone does, you just gotta, whoever steps up has to make the best of it. And hopefully that's going to be Obi Toppin tonight. I think now, Obi doesn't have that lock jam at his position. Hopefully Tibbs is going to start him. I tweeted it's Obi time, but you had people in the fan base that thought Tibbs would be crazy enough to put Taj out there in Julius Randle's place. I don't personally think that's the case. I'm pretty sure Obi is going to get, the start, and hopefully he's able to make some noise out there. I think this is going to be a nice time for the Knicks to see what a post Julius Randle life might look like. And if this team is able to play a nice brand of basketball where they're moving the rock, taking smart shots, and playing within a team system, then I think that'll be a nice blueprint for the Knicks moving forward. And we'll also see some of these role players, guys that we drafted later on, have to operate in an expanded role. So hopefully they're able to take a step and give us a little more answers than, Tibbs allowed us to get. So because, his hand is forced now, he's going to not have Julius Randle out there. I expect to see RJ pick up a bigger workload, guys like Emmanuel quickly pick up a bigger workload. And those are the players I want to see how they respond to a player like Julius Randle, who has such a high usage rate, being removed from the equation. I like experiments. So, you remove a variable. Let's see how everybody else responds.
Absolutely. That's the exciting part of this news. There's a lot of conspiracy theories out there.
There's plenty
about this.
Yeah,
it's he was fined $40,000 for his antics at the end of the game against Utah, and one of them encountered, actually it was because he touched an official, right, or something.
Some interaction with the official. I don't know if it was verbal or physical. I think it was probably verbal, because if you do physical, they give you a suspension. Even though that's right. What the conspiracy is. A lot of people say.
He said, here it is. I have New York Knicks forward Julius Randle has been fined $40,000 for direct hostile language toward a game official. All right, so that's more in the bizarro world of Julius Randle as a Knick in 2021-22.
Yeah, these are becoming too frequent. Once in a
weekly.
While.
Remember when I made the joke about what's he going to do next? Punch a priest. Yep. Punch a priest is on the list. It's in his bucket list of disastrous things to do. He'll get there. Just got to put a priest in front of him.
Let's hope he does it, George. Let's hope he does it. You're gonna put a battery in his back. You really trying to get him out of here, huh?
Hey, by any means necessary. No, it's interesting because I think here's something that's interesting about this situation. And I tweeted this out earlier. He has been, in the last 3 games, he's shooting 28%. 28% from the field, last 3 games. That's pretty shitty. Yeah. RJ's not much better, honestly. He's not. He's been doing pretty poor as well. I don't have the exact numbers for RJ, but they're similar, because in definitely the last 2 games, maybe reaching back 3 games ago, RJ had a better game. I can't, not 100% sure.
RJ kind of alternates. He'll have one game where he's hovering around the 40-50% mark, and then he'll have the game like when he went 6 to 22. So
yeah,
with him.
But the cool thing about him is he has been getting to the line, and he's been hitting at the line, and his 3-point shot has been there. So yeah, his finishing hasn't been what it should be, and I attribute that completely 100% to the minutes load that Thibs has him on. He's averaging over 40 minutes a game for the past 3 games. It kills the ability to fit, especially him. Not all players are like this, but I see it directly with RJ when he averages over consistently over 35, 36 minutes consistently over that. His finishing at the rim takes a downfall, takes a dip. So I've noticed that. But Randle, so maybe, this is a real legitimate injury. Hate to break the bubble for the conspiracy theorists, but
it could be. It is, because if the conspiracies are true and they're trying to hide them, that's a bad outlook, especially if we all
there's history for that though.
Yeah, there is history. So if that is true, it's going to be terrible. I think there's no way you can justify trying to hide the highest paid player from the fan base in a home game going up against a marquee team, like the Hawks, where we have this little, rivalry, even though it's probably being driven more so by the media than actual the teams themselves. So for him to
Yeah, the
be in
teams
that
are over it.
position,
They've already
yeah.
played a couple games in Atlanta, and the Knicks beat them.
Mm-hmm.
That Christmas Day win that was a huge win for the Knicks in terms of just being able to cleanse at least part of the stench
Yep.
of that playoff loss. And then we beat them in Atlanta again in Atlanta. So that's nice. I think we have the season series at this point. If we win tonight, we'll clinch the season series. I think we have two. We have two more games, including tonight against the Hawks, right?
Let me pull up the schedule.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure about that. But yeah, pull up the schedule there. One thing that now for Obi to thrive, he needs to play with a real point guard on starting in the unit with him. So that means, and I tweeted this out, that the recommended Knicks starting lineup for tonight should be IQ at the point. We'll keep Fournier as a shooting guard because he has just been eating the Hawks for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. It's just total barbecue chicken for him when he sees them. He's shooting a blistering 55% from the three, 52.6% overall from the field, and he's averaging about 18 points a game against them. And he's a plus 11.7 in all in 2 games against the Hawks. 3 games against the Hawks, actually. Yeah, he's played 3 times. So he's killing it against the Hawks. So he's nice to have out on the floor with them, against them. And then of course RJ, small forward, and then Obi at the power forward, and then Mitch. You got to have Obi out there with him. If Thibs starts Burks at the point tonight with Obi on the court starting, I think he's trying to sabotage Obi.
He's going to start Burks, though. Quote unquote, Burks is the best option, is the best starting point guard option on this roster, based on what Tibbs says. And I don't think Tibbs is going to completely change the starting lineup just to facilitate things for Obi Toppin. So expect Burks to start today.
How do you feel about that, though?
Honestly, I don't agree with it. I don't agree with Burks as a starting point guard, regardless of who's playing at power forward. I would agree with you. Either give Quick the opportunity or Deuce. And we already know that Tibbs is probably not going to give too many minutes to Deuce tonight. He probably is going to give more minutes to Taj than he would Deuce, seeing that we need an additional big off the bench. So
that's painful. That's painful, man.
Yep.
But I think you're right. I think there's a chance we have the starting lineup has not been announced yet. But
we surveyed a pull up and let us know.
Yeah, we surveyed. Come through, or anyone who sees it, come through for us, definitely. Shout out to the chat. Herbie Mack, good to see you. Evan Best, good to see you too, man. Mike Anderson.
Kareem. Thank you guys for tuning in.
Yeah. If you're new, just drop a hashtag new in there. It'd be nice to know. Matthew Malecki, welcome. Dibs is going to start Taj.
I hope not, man.
Can you imagine?
If he does, we got to riot. There's no reason Taj should be starting this game when we have Obi.
Hey, Ned Flanders, welcome. Dibs is bringing Joakim Noah out of retirement to start tonight. Hey, he's still on the.
Yeah, he's still getting paid. He's on payroll.
He's on the payroll.
$6 million this season, something like that.
Yeah.
And we surveyed. He said he's still keeping his eyes on the streets.
Bob D here with the real talk. Randle is like a side chick that won't go away. Yeah, that's so true. That's so true. But I'll tell you this: never get rid of your side chick until you have another one.
That's a fact. That's a fact.
That's one thing. So hopefully Obi will be the new side chick. Oh man. Hey, Lex the Destroyer, thanks for holding it down, brother. Best mod around. Mod around. Awesome, man.
We surveyed, man. Gonna live forever. He's got the starting 5 already. We appreciate
it. Got it. And the starting 5 is
Alec
Burks, Evan Fournier, RJ Barrett, Obi Toppin, and Mitchell Robinson. Now that's a starting lineup that totally exemplifies a visionary.
Hey, I told you, man. Don't be surprised. We already know Tibbs.
Yep. Well, that's why I tweeted that out. I wanted it to be on record that
You were against it.
yes, and the reasons why, and it's pretty obvious. So this is interesting. In my opinion, this is an intentional move by Thibs to preserve Randle and sabotage Obi to a certain extent. I'm not sure that's a real like basketball thing. I think it's just something deep inside of him because he's so tied with Randle. I think the worst thing that could happen is if Obi goes off for 20 tonight.
Yeah.
Does it efficiently and plays good defense and protects the rim. I think that's the worst thing that could happen for Tom Thibodeau tonight. And honestly, I think that's a terrible situation for a franchise to be in. That kind of represents the state of the union, for the state of the Knicks union right now, or disunion.
But George, you're going a little extreme trying to say that Tibbs is trying to set Obi up. That's the same point guard he threw out there for Julius Randle. He's not going to change the starting lineup just to appease Obi Toppin.
But he's the one always saying, I like that unit together. That's why I don't start IQ, because I like him with Obi and the energy.
But he's not choosing to break up that unit. He's being forced to break up that unit. He's only doing this because Randle's not available. So in a perfect world, he wouldn't break up that unit, but he's going to have to, because he still believes Burks is the best option at starting point guard. It's the way of the world.
But I'm using his own logic.
I debate the logic, man. I think
I think the logic is bullshit. But I'm saying he wants to have it all ways. He's like, oh no, I don't start IQ because I need one with that second unit, and he helps unlock Obi. Obi needs to play with a real point guard. Blah, 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 moves the ball around, and get Deuce on there. And then now you have to start Obi, and now suddenly that logic doesn't make sense anymore. Now it's more important to start Burks, who he's gotten worse as a point guard, actually recently. So you know what I mean? Like this is the.
But George, think about it. It was more important for Tibbs to put Burks back in when the team was in a groove, just for the sake of having his starters in. So to me, it doesn't, surprise me that he's going to keep Burks, and he's shown it this entire season that Burks is his guy. And if he needs somebody that needs to go out there with that starting unit and be the point guard, it's going to be Burks. So to me, it's frustrating, but it's not surprising at all. He's being consistent. That's one thing you can say about Tibbs. He's for the most part, he's being consistent.
He's being consistently inconsistent. Stubborn. Consistently inconsistent with his own take. Yeah, and stubborn. Consistently inconsistent.
No, he might. You can't always. Sometimes Tibbs will tell you exactly what he means to say, but then also times you just have to go based off his actions, and his actions say that Burks, he legitimately feels, is his best option at starting point guard, and that's why we see him get thrown out there with the starting lineup time in and time out. Especially when Quis has, in recent games shown that he's been more electric running the team.
Matthew Malecki, if Obi stays out of foul trouble, he'll be great tonight. Let's hope.
If they pass him the ball, he'll be great tonight.
Yeah, right.
That's the thing with Obi. He needs the point guard, but they got to look for him.
Yeah. Well, he doesn't just need the point guard. He needs the ball movement. He needs the off ball movement. When he's just in the corner, he's just the lob threat. It kills. It takes him out of the flow of the offense. And
he shouldn't be in the corner. That's why he's out the flow of the offense, because teams want him to shoot that corner three.
Yeah, absolutely. Salute Big Task. Welcome, Hector Santana. I think I saw JD pop. JD was
Yep.
JD. Yeah, he came through with the starters. Oh yeah, we already had him up here before. Yeah, ridiculous. I'm not gonna let go of it. It shows it shows that he is more willing to lose than he is to be proven wrong. That's what that represents to me. We'll see. Well, all right, let's see. What kind of game are you expecting from Obi tonight?
Nothing spectacular. I just want to see him be solid, be efficient. If he has the open three, I would like to see him knock it down. I think when he's able to knock down that three, he's able to play a little bit freer. And also, I just hope Tibbs doesn't hold, Taj over his head. If Obi's out there and he's able to play, free, doesn't have to worry about messing up and being pulled for a guy like Taj Gibson to come off the bench and replace him, I think we're going to see Obi do solid, maybe 12 to 15 points. I'm not seeing him go out there and go crazy, but 15 points, if he can get 5 or 6 rebounds and play some solid defense, perfect game for me.
Yeah, that would be a nice game for him. I really would like to see him. I want him to embarrass Thibs. I want him to go off for like 25. A 20 would be awesome. But this is his time. These are the moments that you have to seize upon in life. Mm-hmm. We float through life too much thinking, oh, well, I'll get another chance. Oh, I'll get another chance. Oh, okay. Oh, that didn't work. I'll get it. No. In fact, if you think back at your life, you could probably distill down to just 5 singular pivotal moments in your life that dictated the majority of the course of your life. 5 single days, 5 single moments, 5 single opportunities, 5 single missed opportunities. A combination of those things. Tonight is a night like that for Obi.
Yep.
This is the night to do it. Also, there's no Kemba. There's no D Rose. So he will get floor time with IQ eventually, even though IQ is not starting. And he will get time with Grimes. We'll see that nice second unit that was thriving the last game. He'll get time with Sims as well, which is nice. And then we'll probably see Taj with Mitch. We'll probably see a mix of things. But tonight,
I don't know. Remember, he likes to have that tight rotation. So we'll see how creative the rotations exactly are.
Yeah, we'll see. He has been doing a little bit of that. The thing is, he keeps blowing
staggering.
At the end. Yeah, a little bit of staggering. Yeah, a little bit.
I just want to see 28 to 30 minutes for Obi. Get him some minutes. Get him some floor time. That's important. Yeah. If he doesn't play well, then that would suck. But at least we'll get a little bit more information when it comes time to make a decision on what to do with Obi. So I would hope he goes out there and plays well. But I'm concerned about him actually getting floor time so we can make some accurate analysis about his ceiling in the NBA.
Absolutely. Yeah, if he gets 28 to 30 minutes, that'd be nice. And he takes full advantage of them. That'd be awesome. I want Obi to seize this moment tonight. I want that crowd chanting Obi tonight.
They're gonna chant Obi regardless.
I want him to chant it because he's doing some great stuff. Randle is too fucking comfortable. That's the problem. That's why he does the ridiculous shit he does, the antics. He just got fined $40,000 again. We just talked about it.
Yep.
He's too comfortable on this team. He needs to feel the heat. And he's been feeling the heat from the Knicks fans, and that's probably one of the reasons why he's not playing tonight against the Hawks at MSG.
He's ducking the fade.
Yeah. All right. Shout out to the chat. Hector Santana, welcome, brother. Anyone knows what the opposing power forward averages against Randle? It's a great question.
Who, John Collins? Or just opposing power forward?
I think in general. All right. Before we move on to the next topic, just want to remind you guys that we have a new sponsor. And right now during March Madness, you should take advantage of the promotion that they're running. It's a BUSR. The link is in the description. And you just go there. You bet $1 to win $10,000 plus 100% sign-up bonus, which is awesome. And 25 casino chips every time you make a deposit. So one lucky winner will be randomly chosen and credited $10,000. This is for new signups and existing customers. If you are an existing customer, it's easy. Just place a $1 bet or more on any of the games, and you're instantly participating to win. And the winner will be announced next week on the 26th, the day of the Elite Eight. So definitely sign up as soon as possible and get going on it and make your bets with March Madness. I've been following it. I've watched almost every single game. It's been fantastic. I'm having a blast watching those games. All right, well, let's move on to the next topic. Now, the next topic is kind of make life a little bit easier for us because we've been, at least, I mean, speaking for me, mostly, there's been a lot of negativity with the Knicks.
Yeah.
Even that 3-game winning streak, even that was thorny, because it also hurt our lottery chances. So it was like you enjoy it, but you had to shed a little blood,
Yeah.
with it. So, but Quis and I have pulled together a new topic for us, and it is the top 4 positives for the Knicks this season. And there have been actually some good things that have happened. And let's begin with the first one. The first one is at number 4 is Emmanuel Quickly. You can start on this guy. You go with Emmanuel.
Yeah, with IQ, I've liked what I've seen from IQ. He started off, the season. He wasn't hitting his shots, and the bait was strong. Is he a point guard? Is he not a point guard? But I think he started to settle into a role now where he's able to look for his own shots, and he's starting to make some nice decisions with the basketball. So he's somewhat excelling in what I call the pseudo point guard position, where we don't have the typical facilitator, but when Quick is out there, I've liked some of the decisions he's made. He does do some things that kind of make you upset, but he's a young player. He was the 25th overall pick, so the expectations aren't through the roof, and I think the expectations I had set for him when we did draft him, he's exceeded so far. So hopefully he can continue to build upon that. He's been the one bright spot. Hopefully Tibbs can put him in a situation that's better suited for his talents, and I think once we're able to do that, I think we're going to see him take some more major gains.
Yeah, I'm excited that the turnaround that his shot has made recently. Because that was a big concern. We were concerned. You and I were concerned. We were concerned that, hey, wow, he's really regressed. But there were other aspects of his game that were still there all year long. His defense was there. It had improved. Picked up over last season. His rebounding. He's a really good rebounder for a smallish guard. He's 6'3", but he does have that nice long wingspan. Yeah, and he's always moving. And he looks more comfortable on the court. Just a shout out to Thibs, because Thibs did talk about IQ in one of the press conferences, and he said that he believes that the new rule changes did impact him in the beginning part of the year, to figure out how to position his body as he's going into the paint. And that major change has really impacted his ability to be more effective and make better decisions when he enters the paint. And we're seeing that. And what's nice is he's also entering, and he's not giving up on a play. He's taking it back out. For some reason, I always wonder why some guys are so afraid to do that. If they can't find a good outlet pass, they don't just take it right back out and reset. But he's doing that.
Some of them are scared to keep their dribble in traffic.
And he was doing that a lot.
Mm-hmm. Remember, he still does it at times now. He'll get a foot in the paint and pick up his dribble, but he's starting to work through that. But also when he's doing it too, if you notice, he takes up more space. He takes up more real estate when he does it. He doesn't just stop. Now he's crouched, his back is arched, he's out, and he's protecting the ball. So it's harder to impact him, to strip him from the ball. And he doesn't turn the ball over that much. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm gonna say his passing has really improved. His court vision, he still needs to have his head up more and take advantage of those little seams that pop up.
I mean, he's wired to shoot, George.
He is wired to shoot. He is wired to shoot. But at least now his shooting has kind of risen to match what he's doing point guard wise. He has, in my opinion of him possibly being a point guard / combo more, he could be a point guard in the NBA. My opinion of that that still exists for me with IQ. But he needs more time. We'll see. All right, number 3. Number 3, the third biggest positive for the Knicks this season is Mitch Robinson.
Yep.
And I'm going to give you the floor because I know you are a big Mitch Robinson fan.
Yeah, man. Hopefully we're able to re-sign him. I think coming into the season, the biggest concern with Mitchell Robinson was health. And you look at how many games he's played so far. He'll play tonight, and that'll be his 66th game of the season. That's going to match his career high, something that he didn't hit since his rookie year. So he's on pace right now to eclipse or have this career high in most games played. And coming off of that injury, the Jones fracture, to see him be able to stay on the court and play this amount of games, it's really encouraging. And not only has he been, available, they say your best ability is availability, but he's also been able to be a monster on the offensive rebound and still be a dominant presence when it comes to protecting the paint. So those are all positive signs for Mitch. He's still young. We still want him to build on, his offensive game, but there's going to be time for that. We just have to make sure we can keep him in-house, honestly, there's no other option, I think, right now that's available to us that would be of better value than Mitch, especially seeing the progress he's made. Some people are skeptical because it's a contract year, but I think Mitch was trending this way before he got hurt last season.
Oh, yeah.
So it just delayed it. So I'm all for extending Mitch. He's been one of the major positives this season. And so far, he's checked all the boxes. There's one box you still have to be a little bit concerned with some of his, social media antics, but it hasn't affected the team. So you don't really want to hold it against him or anything like that. I'm
right there with you, man. We touched upon this in the last, I think was it on the Sunday show? I can't remember which stream it was, but I'm always been a huge fan of Mitch. Again, like you said, I wish he had developed his offensive toolbox more, or actually developed it. He's just refined. Yeah. He's only refined what he does well.
The hook shot, George.
He did attempt it, but that just shows how much more potential he has. He is leading the NBA in field goal percentage in the past 3 years total, and he has the record for the highest field goal percentage in a single season. Offensive glass, he's a beast. Number 2 in the NBA in totals. He is his block shots are coming along as we've seen the season as the season has rolled along, and he's gotten more and more in better conditioning. His game has improved more and more, and that's great. He's just trending in the right direction. The bittersweet part of this is it's a contract year, and we might see him go. That's the bittersweet part of it. Yeah,
it happens.
Yeah, but at least it's a positive in the sense that this could have gone really, really badly, guys. Like Quis was saying, this is his 67th game?
This is his 66th game tonight.
66th game tonight. The fact that he's been able to stay out there, and even though every game it looks like he he snaps a tendon or something. Man. he gets back out there.
He's the biggest guy on the court, and he's on the floor the most. It's not a good recipe.
Yeah, that's both of our Nerlens was like that too, and Taj too. I think our 3 centers spend more time, horizontal on the hardwood floor than any other centers in the game. But I think even if we end up doing a sign and trade, we'll still be able. He's increased his value enough, so we'll be able to get at least a decent piece if they can pull that off. Or, we just hold on to him, and I hope we do. He has been a tremendous positive for this team this season. Not in the first couple months, but it's definitely in the last 2 months for sure.
And you mentioned his field goal percentage during the season when he broke the record. He was shooting 74%. Right now, he's shooting 76%, 77 if you round up. So he's on pace to eclipse that mark
to break his record.
Mm-hmm.
There we go. Now, that's a tremendous stat when you consider Wilt Chamberlain, Artis Gilmore. I mean, guys like that just lived in the paint constantly, and they had moves. Imagine Mitch with a move,
right?
Or 2.
He's built up his strength.
Yeah, he's built up his strength. He definitely has. We got Walter White in the house. Good to see you, brother.
Hey,
man. Life's rough out there. Walter White says, if we don't sign Mitch, Sims isn't a tremendous drop off. That is true. That is true. And that's also,
I don't know, because we could say that Mitchell Robinson is elite in certain areas. You can't really say Sims is elite at anything at this moment. So I think there will be a big drop off.
You think a
I
big
mean, Sims will be a solid. I mean, he'll be a decent replacement, I think. But we've only seen Mims in backup minutes, and I don't. I think if you kind of undervalue what Mitch is able to provide. He's an elite offensive rebounder, and Sims is solid at times protecting the paint, but Mitch is at a different level when it talks about forcing players to adjust their shots and things like that. Also, you look at the length of a Mitchell Robinson, the way he's able to play passing lanes and things like that. So I think you kind of undervalue Mitchell Robinson a little bit when you say Sims isn't a tremendous drop off. I think it'll be a major drop off in certain areas out there on the court.
Yeah, that is absolutely true. That's how it is at the moment. Can I foresee Sims kind of getting to where Mitch is now? I can see that. He has that in his game. He has that in his physique. The guy can leap out of the arena. He has it, but you're right. He's not.
And it doesn't really translate into shot blocking either. Even though he has the bungees, you just don't really see the high shot blocking totals.
That's right. That's really true. That's really true. All right. Oh, we got 156 in the chat. That's awesome, man. Hit the thumbs up button if you guys haven't hit it yet. Really appreciate that. Along with subscribe and drop your comments later. If you come back in, you have any other thoughts that we didn't get to here, just drop them in the comments. Be awesome. And subscribe to Sports Vibes TV when you get a chance. We alternate the pregame shows. So tomorrow's pregame show will also be on Knicks-Verse.
You get to double up. I doubled up the last time.
We'll double up. All right, here we go. We're going to go to number 2. The second best, most positive thing to happen for the Knicks this season was Quentin Grimes.
Yep.
Quentin Grimes. And this is a big one, I think, in my opinion. This is a huge one. I might have put Mitch number 2 over Grimes if it weren't for the contract issues.
Yeah, true.
But knowing that Grimes is here for another 3 years, at least, and I have to worry about contract, the defense this guy brings us, the versatility on the perimeter defensively. He can even give you some minutes covering, a 4. He can switch on a 4 and do a decent job. He knows,
enough, I guess.
Yeah, he knows how to do it. Of course, there's going to be a lot of 4s that are going to eat him up, but he knows at least, in those switchable moments, he can do it. But he can switch 1 through 3 beautifully at a fairly high level. He plays defense, and then the 3-point shot, Quis.
Yep.
The 3-point shot. Tell us about his 3-point shot, Quis.
Well, I mean, he's a knockdown shooter, and Foxy, we were on the Sunday stream, and he said coming into the league, he was shooting more 3s than 2s, so you knew where his game was going to gravitate in the NBA. And I think with Grimes, you look at him and you look at trying to build a championship roster, and you're going to go up against some elite guards in this league. So to have a guy like a Quentin Grimes who can make life difficult for those players, we've seen it time and time again. We're going up against the Hawks. We've seen times where he's made life difficult for Trey out there. So I think if you look at Grimes, what he's been able to do, and the fact that he fills a role if we're trying to build a championship contender, and that's what I assume the front office is doing, the actual moves they make, it's a little bit skeptical. But if we're trying to build a championship contender, you always need a player like a Quentin Grimes. We've talked, behind the scenes about the Nets and them not necessarily having that defense that they can put out on somebody and try to disrupt an elite offensive talent. And Grimes could project into that type of player. He can continue to knock down the 3-point shot, and hopefully he'll be able to develop his handle a little bit more so he can be a little bit more creative offensively. But with what he's able to provide us right now, I think he'd be able to find a role on a team that is vying for playoff or championship contention. So the fact that we were able to get that at the 25th pick and basically double up in the draft and get 2 players that we can at least position in a role where we can say, all right, they can, contribute, I think, to a winning ball club. I think you have to be excited about that.
Absolutely. And to think that both these 2 guys, the number 4 on this page and number 2 on this page, were 25th picks in the first round.
And then number 3 was a second round pick.
And a second round pick. Well, he was a fluke. He would have like we talked about this, like he would have been anywhere from 11th to 14th pick if he'd done the 1 year of college. He would have for sure been up there in the late lottery first round. Grimes. I've talked so much about Grimes that it's easy to, because he's a hard worker, tenacious. His basketball IQ is incredibly high. His major weakness in terms of him being like a really like an upper tier player in this league is his handle.
Yep.
He doesn't have that kind of handle. The speed, he has speed. It's not like quick. A blistering, he's not super quick, but he's quick. He's got some speed. Obviously, he's got some great lateral speed, which helps him defensively. But that 3-point shot, I think his ceiling is he could be, for years to come, in the top 5 3-point shooters in the entire NBA for years to come. Like a Kyle Korver type guy, JJ Redick type guy, even better in a lot of ways, because he's a little bigger, and his shot is exactly the same every time, and he releases it at a high point. So it's hard to block. Even if they've got a 6'9" guy flying at him, he still gets it off. And the handle has come a long way since he was a freshman in college, because that was the major issue with him.
That's why he couldn't be a point guard.
Exactly. But it's come a long way. I think this summer, I'd love for him to, go with RJ to Drew's Hanlon's camp and work on that dribble. And so, that would be, whatever it is, he needs to work on his handle more, but it's not terrible. It's just it's just not at the level.
It's not great.
It's not at the level it needs to be for his other skill set to really unlock himself and become that, that kind of Klay Thompson-esque type player, a B+ version of
Klay can't really dribble either.
He can't.
He's got the most points with the least amount of dribbles. There's a reason for that.
Incredible. So it's not right. It's not like it's going to hurt him in terms of that. His ceiling is high. His floor is.
That's why I'm not too worried about the dribbling. Keep knocking down your shot. Even when he's not able to score out there, or he's not in the flow offensively, he's still able to impact the game, whether it be the scouting report and teams knowing that they can't help off of him, or they'll pay, or him, the way he's passing the ball when teams rotate towards him, or even how he's able to affect the game defensively. Because, off ball, people talk about how good of a defender he is on ball. I think a lot of his rotations and how he's able to recover when he's off ball, I think, is phenomenal. And that's something that has to be pointed out as well.
Absolutely. I'm glad you brought that out, for sure. All right, we're getting close to the game start time, and I'm sure everyone's guessed by now who the number one positive for the Knicks this year. But the thing is, it's so monumental. RJ's continued leveling up and ascension is so pivotal to the franchise that the other 3 would mean nothing if it weren't for RJ. In terms of the franchise, in terms of the future of this franchise, as the number 3 pick, the second highest pick the Knicks have had since Patrick Ewing, there was a time, and all you have to do is just go do a Google search, where RJ was the most maligned number 3 pick we had seen in a very long time. People,
a lot of hate his way.
So many haters. It's kind of bizarre how much people wanted to hate upon this guy. And Nine God is absolutely right. The guy plays like he is he plays with such confidence and with such poise. And what I love is that he has weaknesses. but he's constantly working on improving all aspects of his game. He is, I think, if he finishes the season the way he's been going, and he picks up next season where he's at now, and goes from there, by this time next year he will be an all-star. He will have been an all-star in the 2023 All-Star game. Not much to say about RJ that's new, because we've talked about him a lot, but he's just such a key piece to this team, and he just makes things. He's what gives me the most hope for the franchise.
Yep.
He's able to deal with the Thibs BS. He's able to deal with the Randle BS, and that's a lot to deal with. It's a lot to deal with, and
especially for a young player.
Yeah.
Even the vet looked fed up. Did you see Evan Fournier when he was trying to calm down Julius Randle? He's like, I'm done with this.
Yeah. So, what are your final thoughts on RJ?
You nailed it with RJ and Hope, because now you look at RJ, you see a lot of the great players in this league. They're complimenting RJ and the work ethic and how his game is starting to develop. And that's good, because, a lot of these coalitions you see from some of these guys, they work together in order to, land in the same spot. And we know RJ loves New York and loves being here, wants to, I would assume, spend his entire career here. And also, if we're going to move on from a Julius Randle, we needed RJ to show that he could step up and be that guy. And we're seeing flashes of it, and he's trending in that direction. So if the front office is a little bit hesitant about moving on from Julius Randle, they can at least look at the roster and say, all right, we have a young guy in RJ Barrett, homegrown. We drafted him, and we believe that we can continue to build around him, and that players would want to come and play with him. So for him to take those steps this season, trending in that direction, because he still at times has been inconsistent, and you want him to iron that out just a little bit. But if he's continuing to trend like this, then I see other players around the league looking at New York and saying, okay, I would like to play with an RJ Barrett. And the front office just has to try and build a cohesive unit around the guy. If you look at what we did this free agency, I don't think we really brought in guys that helped accentuate RJ Barrett's game. And yet he's been excelling in spite of that. We've got a coach that we don't think he's using RJ Barrett in the right way. And yet he's still excelling in spite of that. So to see him kind of take these steps when he's not in the right position, or the team hasn't really positioned him in the right spot to grow and build his game, you got to take that as a plus. It shows that regardless of what's going on around him, he's driven, he's motivated to be the best player he can be, and those are the type of players you invest in long term. So hopefully he'll be able to break that Charlie Ward curse and be one of the first guys we were able to sign to an extension.
Yeah, we have to. That's for sure. We have to. The cool thing is, like you mentioned, that was a great thing to mention, that he is the kind of guy that I could see other good players would want to come play with him. So in that respect, that is a real tremendous positive for sure. All right, well, we're here. The game has already started. The score is Atlanta 4, Knicks 3, according to my phone here.
So we can't win wire to wire. That's unfortunate.
Yeah, can't win wire to wire. That's right. Against the Hawks? Have we won wire to wire against the Hawks? I'm wondering. All right, let me see here. Sorry, I have to take care of one thing. All right, well, we're going to wrap this up so we can watch this game. And hold on, something's happening here. Yes, it's me. 62. Okay. All right, guys. Thank you guys so much for showing up here for the Knicks Syndicate pregame show. We surveyed 100 people. Welcome. Brian Ferreira. Off topic, but Deuce's numbers in the G League are crazy. Yeah.
Crazy.
Even if he got half those numbers, that would be huge for a rookie PG. Why can't they use him more in our offense? Is it a scheme thing?
It's a Tibbs thing.
It's a Tibbs thing. It's a stubborn thing. That's what it is.
We're not even playing him at point guard when he's out there. That's the mind-boggling part.
Facts.
We'll play Burks out of position, and then that leads to us playing Deuce out of position.
Facts. Exactly right. All right. Well, thank you guys so much for joining us. I hope that you have subscribed if you haven't yet, and also hit that thumbs up button and drop your comments. And we will see you. Oh, Keith, you want to say any
Well, thank you guys for tuning in. We appreciate the support. It's been a long season, but we know pre-games we can come chop it up with you guys and kind of mellow out before we see some craziness out there on the court. So thank you guys for tuning in. We appreciate all the support, and let's go Knicks.
Let's go Knicks. All right. Thank you guys for watching us. And here is commercial about our sponsor, BUSR. Sign up. The link's in the description.